Hello everyone. Today I will tell you a movie called Return. The main character of the film, Ben, is a 25-year-old guy with a baby face who is always kind and gentle to others. We can assume that he is an ideal friend, but everything is exactly the opposite. Ben is not a serial killer, but he has the ability to stop time and do whatever he wants. Of course, he uses it to undress women and do his favorite thing, drawing. Whether it's on the road, in the supermarket, or even in the cinema, Ben freezes hot girls and makes their nude portraits, but it wasn't like that. He was always an ordinary guy like the rest of us. He had a caring girlfriend and a promising future after that movie. Goes back to 5 weeks ago when everything went wrong. Ben quarrels with his girlfriend Susie, who calls him a loser. He's had enough, so he breaks up with her, which makes her even angrier. She starts throwing objects at him, and at this moment everything slows down for Ben. After the breakup, Susie quickly recovers from the breakup and finds solace in a new guy. Ben notices them together in the college cafeteria and gets desperate. To distract himself, he starts attend art classes because Ben has been fond of creating portraits since childhood. He easily turns out beautiful paintings that surprise even the teacher. The hero specializes in creating ultra-realistic human portraits. At night it becomes very difficult for him. Ben can't get over the breakup in any way, because every time he closes his eyes, he sees Susie. Days pass and eventually he starts insomnia. Now the hero can't fall asleep, even for an hour. Memories of an ex-girlfriend gradually turn him into a depressive maniac overflowing with regret and suffering. Ben finally calls Susie and begs her to come back. He also asks for forgiveness, but despite the fact that the guy has fallen so low for her, Susie refuses his request and hangs up. This forces the hero to plunge into an even deeper abyss of despair. Over the next few days, Ben struggles to pass the time. He reads books, watches movies, and even goes on a solo trip to other cities. However, as night falls, he begins to suffer from insomnia, and it becomes increasingly difficult for him to concentrate on anything else. So he starts walking at night. One day a guy goes to a local supermarket where he notices ads for night shift work. Ben thinks this is a great opportunity to pass the time and earn some money, so he immediately submits an application. The next day he is interviewed by manager Jenkins and eventually gets a job. Ben is finally happy after a long time, and he has a premonition that his life will change soon. As the hero gets used to his new job, he notices that each of his colleagues spends time differently. The cashier Sharon has the most unique style. She always hides her watch behind various objects. The girl believes that time will go slowly if she looks at them. There is also a naughty guy named Barry Brickman, who is never serious at work. Together with his equally cunning friend in this, with Stevens, he plays the customers by putting adult toys in their bag. Some of the customers are perplexed when they find it, but some decide to keep it for themselves. The only person who doesn't seem to care about time is their boss Jenkins. He can talk endlessly about what he is successful and rich. As soon as he begins to make his selfish speeches, time passes very quickly for him. But of all the night shift workers, Ben has the most unusual way to pass the time in a state of deep melancholy. Ben is detached from time and reality. In other words, he uses his super abilities to freeze time and ultimately his environment so that he could do everything someone would: steal money or do obscene things. But Ben just wants to hone his artistic skills because he is in awe of the female body. Selects random clients, gently undresses them, and begins to draw their portraits. The guy does not have any base feelings for them. He just wants to make sure that his passion for art will never die. When he's done, he puts them back on and snaps his fingers, making time start flowing again. Now it's become Ben's life. It's not something he can be proud of, but at least he is no longer a depressed and crazy person. Slowly but steadily he began to get distracted from Susie at home. Ben often spends time with his best friend. They have been together with Sean since childhood. Sean, the complete opposite of Ben, because all he wants is to get a girl in his pants. It turns out that he visited all the strip clubs in the city. One day during his night shift, Ben runs into Sharon in the locker room. I think that he's in love with her, but can't muster the courage to say it. But while they re-talking, the friendly cashier bites off his sandwich, shocking him. A small piece of cucumber sticks to her cheek, and she awkwardly tries to wipe it. But unsuccessfully, seeing her attempts, Ben intervenes and wipes it for her, creating a very awkward moment between. But after a while, Sharon decides to leave and goes to the door. Ben wants to freeze this moment and live in it for a week, but by the time he comes to, the girl is already leaving. Some time later, when he is doing his own business, Matt suddenly appears and informs that he is going to the cinema with Sharon. This devastates the hero, and he wonders why he is so unlucky. Then he remembers school years when I first fell in love. She was the smartest girl in the class that everyone liked. One day she got into an accident and dislocated her arm, which is why she had to wear a cast. Every day her classmates wrote encouraging words on it, words to make her feel better. Ben also wanted to write something, but he was too nervous to even approach her. Unfortunately, his reluctance cost him this opportunity, since after a few days the girl took off the cast. Everyone was glad to see her recovered, but when they noticed that her hair had grown on her arm, they started laughing at her. Eventually, the girl started crying, and then Ben decided to intervene. He comforts her, saying that he would be with her no matter what. Soon the two become good friends. One day, a girl unexpectedly approaches Ben and asks if he wants to kiss her. Without hesitation, he answers yes, and the two agree to meet at their favorite place on the weekend. Ben is very happy that he will kiss for the first time. He loses sleep for the next few days, and when the weekend finally comes, he comes ahead of time. The hero waits all day, but she doesn't come, which breaks his heart. The next day at school, Ben finally finds out that the girl has moved to another city together with my parents. For the first time, he felt helpless and depressed. Returning to the present, Jenkins gathers all his employees and informs them that they are going to play. Ben and the others don't want to play a friendly football match with his friends, but they have no other choice. During the match, the supermarket team loses big, since it becomes clear that none of them can play. The opponents increase the score by scoring goal after goal, and he becomes 26-0. When the hero gets bored, he freezes time and goes to the locker room to rest. Suddenly alone, the guy unfreezes himself and runs outside. This shows that Ben is not the only person who has gained this ability. After a while, he comes out and snaps his fingers, allowing time to return to its original form. In the heat of excitement, Matt kicks the ball so hard that it hits Jenkins in the face, and he is immediately sent to the hospital. And all the other members of the team go home, leaving Ben and Sharon is alone. In the next scene, they walk into a nearby diner and try to get to know each other better there. The guy finds out that she's alone, and Matt just joked about dating her. Then she shares her dreams with Ben, and he does the same. Sharon says she has always wanted to meet an artist because she thinks they can see the true beauty of things. As they talk, it becomes clear that there is chemistry between them. After their informal date, Ben sees them off. Sharon goes home and awkwardly spoils their first kiss by smacking her on the cheek when she wanted to on the lips. The next day, a disfigured Jenkins announces he is going to throw a birthday party. She asks Ben if he wants to go on a date with her, and he happily agrees. Later, Jenkins calls the guys to his office and gives them separate tasks to prepare for the birthday. The hero is tasked with hiring a stripper for a party. Although he had never talked to any of them in his life, he knows exactly the person who can help him. Later, he turns to his best friend Sean for help, promising to take him to a party if they complete the task. Then they go to a local club where Sean uses his experience and hires a girl for a party. The next morning, an unknown person calls the hero claiming that he is an art connoisseur. He has an art gallery in the city, and he wants Ben's works to be presented there, but it turns out to be a hoax. Ben dresses up for a party and comes for Sharon. As soon as she opens the door, he happily informs her that a popular organization wants to exhibit his work. Sharon wholeheartedly congratulates him and soon they go to a party. When they arrived, it was already in full swing. Sean is rejected by the girl Matt and Bari dance, and Jenkins acts as a DJ. At this moment, the hero notices his ex-girlfriend Susie among those present. Turns out she's Brother Jenkins' girlfriend. Soon a stripper arrives and warms up the party, in particular Sean instantly establishes a connection with her. Meanwhile, Ben goes to the bathroom where he runs into Susie. Wasting no time, she declares that she wants them to reconcile and become a couple again. The guy certainly does not want this, because he has already met the love of his life, but the girl continues insist. For no reason at all, she even kisses him. Ben immediately pushes her away, but when he turns around, he realizes that Sharon saw everything. This hero is trying explain that everything is not as it seems, but she leaves after a while. Ben goes straight to Sharon's apartment and tries to explain everything to her, but she is too blinded by her anger when she starts throwing obscenities. The guy gets upset and leaves. Because of the breakup, he again plunges into his world of depression and insomnia. The only thing he is looking forward to this meeting with the prospective company, which I called him from the art gallery. In the next scene, that day finally arrives and Ben goes there with some of his best work. As expected, the gallery owner denies that he made an appointment with him, and Ben realizes that he was being played, but when he is about to leave, the owner notices several of his sketches of Sharon and asks, "Take a look at them." It is not surprising that he liked them, and Ben is offered to exhibit his work in the gallery. A few days later, Sharon receives an official invitation to Ben's art exhibition. Although she is angry with him, she is everything. She decides to visit the gallery. When the girl comes there, she is surprised to see that all the works there are dedicated to her. It turns out Ben stopped taking portraits of other women and spent all his time on Sharon. She was the love of his life, and he couldn't look at any other girl except for her. Then Sharon and Ben finally meet. Ben tries to explain what happened at the party, but Sharon says he doesn't have to do it now. She understands how much he loves her just looking at his paintings. After that, they get closer and share a romantic kiss right in the middle of the hall. In the final scene, Ben uses his abilities and freezes everything around. However, this time even Sharon can move the restored time. Then they go out into the snow, where millions of snowflakes hang in the air. They kiss again and the movie ends on a happy note. The movie ends. All bye.